session. Judge Mills Lane presiding.
Please be seated. Madam Billett, have the litigants been sworn?
Yes, Judge, the litigants have been sworn. Judge, this is case number 112498G.
All right, thank you, Madam Billett.
Sure.
This is a case about a loan between sisters. We have Ms. Elizabeth Sherman, the plaintiff, Ms. Julia Cantrella, the defendant. Let's get it on. Ms. Sherman, you're the plaintiff, ma'am. Let me hear your side of this.
In May of '98, I took a cash advance out on my credit card for my sister, Julia Cantarella, because she needed money. So I took the advance out, which I have documents stating that I took it out.
Okay, you have a document stating how much advance you took on your card?
Yes, I have all my bills from now and from when I took the advance till now.
All right, go ahead.
And then on August 15th, I sent my sister Julia a letter asking her for my money, telling her that I would give her 2 weeks before I turned it into a legal matter, and I gave her a breakdown of what she owed me, and she didn't respond, so I sent the letter and then filed.
Okay.
But before the letter, there was a lot of harassment.
Well, hold on a minute. All right, and so you wrote her the letter and told her, how long did she have to pay you initially?
I took it out in May of '98, and she was supposed to give it back to me within 2 weeks because she claimed she was getting Social Security. And then 2 weeks went by, months went by, and then a lot of hard feelings came of it. And then finally, in September, I filed in the Pittsfield District Court.
Okay, let me stop 1 second. Ms. Cantrella, you heard what your sister said. She's your blood sister, correct?
She's my blood sister.
Younger or older?
She's younger.
Younger than you are. And you got some money from her?
$450.
Well, hold on a minute. I'll decide that. But let me ask you this. You got some money from her, correct?
Yes, I did.
And were you supposed to pay her back?
Yeah, I told her I'd pay her back as soon as I got my Social Security. They accepted my thing, and then my husband had gotten more money, and he made too much money, and then they declined me.
Okay, but let me just ask you this. I take it that you predicated getting your Social Security on the fact that your husband made X amount of dollars. It turned out he made too much, so you couldn't get Social Security.
Right, I was already approved, and then they disapproved me.
Okay. But, all right, and that is obviously not a happy thing, but what does that really have to do with the fact that you owe your sister the money?
I didn't have the money to pay her. In the meantime, between the times that she's stating, she called my house, she was harassing my children, she harassed my husband. There was a lot of hard feelings between me and my husband. I ended up going into a psychiatric hospital. I was there for 13 days, and between her and my other sister telling my husband a whole bunch of lies, my husband would not let me come back home from the psychiatric hospital.
Well, let me ask you a question. Give me an example. Give me an example of the type of harassment there was. What was said?
She was calling me vulgar names. She was saying it to my children, my 13, my 14-year-old. It got to the point where my husband didn't even want to speak to her no more. He'd see her name come up on the caller ID and wouldn't answer the calls. Or if my children did get the calls, my husband would tell them to say he wasn't there because he was just sick of it.
Okay, so he was sick of it and he didn't believe her, correct?
Well, no, he knew I owed her the money, and I do agree I owe her $400.
No, I'm not talking about that. You say that she said some things to him and he wouldn't let you come home. What was that all about?
I don't know what they said. I was in a psychiatric hospital.
Okay. Did you talk to her husband and her children?
I went to her house to get some clothes she had borrowed from me, and her husband had asked me if she was cheating on him because she was sneaking out of the house at 1 o'clock in the morning. I had nothing to do with that, and her marriage was in trouble before she borrowed the money because she stole money from him.
Well, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute now. You went to her house to get clothes?
She had borrowed some clothes from me to start a new job.
Okay, stop right there. Did you borrow some clothes from your sister, ma'am?
Did I borrow?
Some clothes?
Yeah, just clothes to wear to work.
Okay, and she came to get those?
And she threatened my husband. She was taking the wedding gowns that were hanging in my closet.
Okay, did she come to get her clothes?
Yeah, she came to get her clothes. My husband walked her in the room and sat on the bed and said to her, take only what's yours.
Okay, now, at that point in time, what did her husband say about her going out of?
He had asked me if I knew if she was having an affair or not.
And what'd you say?
No.
You said no?
And then
she
he
did not.
proceeded to tell me that she had been sneaking out of the house at 1 a.m. to go places,
So what
and
did
I
you-
knew nothing about that.
So what did you tell him?
I said I didn't know about it. This sister knew about it.
All right, this sister, come forward. What is your name? Your name is Jenny Scott?
Yeah.
Okay, what did this is Ms. Cantrell is your sister also?
Yeah.
Did her husband ask you about what she was doing?
No, he knew that she was sneaking out of the house. Because she
Did
was
you tell
coming.
him?
She was coming to my house and her witness's house because we were roommates.
And what did you tell her husband about that?
I didn't tell her husband anything. He had already assumed that she was having an affair with
And
some.
she confirmed it.
Huh?
I
She
didn't confirm
confirmed
it.
Okay, have a seat. Thank you, ma'am.
More on the case of the sisters and alone when we come back.
Okay, now, Ms. Sherman, you say you... I don't want to ask a lady this, but I got no other choice. How old are you, ma'am, roughly?
31.
31. And you, ma'am, are in your
I'm 33.
33. And you... How many in your family?
I have 2 little kids.
I mean, how many in your siblings?
Oh, there's 5 girls and 1 boy.
5 boys, 1 boy in the family. And have you been a close family?
No.
We were close. We were very close. all along.
Were you ever close?
We were close for a little while, but not, I mean, we weren't joined at the hip. We socialized on the phone and stuff. I babysat for her. She watched my son on occasion.
But I mean, when you were growing up, when you were little...
No, we were not. We were separated. We had a very rough childhood, and, you know, on occasion, my parents would split us up, and we'd go and live with different relatives.
Okay, so it wasn't like a close family relationship for the time when you were little kids growing up until you went to school, high school, things like that?
Right, because we were all at different places.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Well, dang, this is...
I have pictures of a business that she's opening with merchandise in the window, and she claims she has no money. How is she buying this stuff?
Well, let's see those, okay? Well,
More than 3 dresses.
How about your business, Miss Cantrell? Is this an ongoing business, ma'am?
I haven't opened yet, no.
Well, I know, but it takes some money to get something started like this.
And I took a personal loan from Veronica Ferry. She bought all my stock.
You gave her a loan, Miss Ferry?
She's charged everything on her credit cards for me to start my business.
How much?
$1,200?
$1,200. Gosh, I would think it would take more than $1,200 to open up a store like this with
My uncle owns the building. And my uncle owns that building right there. And my uncle gave me a break on the rent, and I paid my rent like in a couple of installments. And then I'm also being helped by mass rehabilitation because I am a manic bipolar. I have a disorder, and they're helping me.
When did you discover that how was that diagnosed?
When my sister started harassing me and I had to go into the hospital.
That's not true, Your Honor. That was diagnosed when she defrauded unemployment $14,000 on her husband, and he gave her the option to go into Jones 2 or to go to jail. Okay. That was not
They
my
had nothing
doing.
to do with it, and she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Well, wait a minute. Just a minute, please. When's the first time that you were diagnosed by a mental health professional as having a bipolar manic depressive disorder?
When I went in the hospital in August.
In August. Did you ever go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a clinical psychologist or a mental health worker before then?
Oh, yeah. February of that year.
Okay, and what did they diagnose you as at that time?
They just gave me medication and sent me home.
And they didn't diagnose you or make any findings?
Depressed. I was depressed.
All right. Okay. Well, okay. I don't see what useful purpose will be served by opening up that store too much, because, I mean, that's a personal thing, and I don't know that it has anything to do with what we're talking about.
It doesn't. It doesn't at all. And like I did call her when I found out that she was down my shop taking pictures, and I said, there's no need for you to take pictures. And she said, shut your mouth, and slammed the phone down on me. And I didn't try calling her back again because I'm not into harassment.
Ma'am, respectfully, I think, first off, this shop is in a public place, is it not?
Yeah.
And she has a right to take photographs in a public place. And I'll tell you this, if I was coming to court to attempt to collect monies, which I believe were owed me, and I thought there was evidence out there that would establish my position and I wanted the judge to know that I was locked and loaded and ready to go, I would go out and get my evidence, I'd get my photographs, and I'd be here. And I think she's absolutely within her right to do that. I have no question about that.
I also have phone logs of Eileen calling me and not Julia about arranging a payment after the court date was made. No contact.
Excuse me. Wait a minute. That's not true.
Okay.
She called me demanding money from me in October after she made a court date.
Okay.
She wanted $300 and something in October.
Well, ma'am, ma'am, I definitely sense a sense of bite in your tongue, and I sense a chip on your shoulder, and maybe it's got a good reason to be there. But the fact of the matter is,
I owe her $400. Yes, I understand that.
well, I tell you, I think that I have to choose. I have to make a decision as to who to believe, and I believe you owe her $450. What's this? What you say? The interest on the $450 is $80.55.
Yes.
Okay, and the $19 filing fee of entitled to that. Judgment for the plaintiff in that amount. Good luck to you.
The younger sister gets her money, $549.55, and this relationship needs mending.
Coming up.